We will have new items.
Okay, so this first item is a request for continuance for item 4A. This is a variance at 195 Chestnut Street. It's a variance from section 3.19.2H of the Land Development Code. And the applicant has requested a continuance to your next meeting. So what that means is we've sent out an advertised, this is an advertised public hearing. So we ask you to open the public hearing and then continue it to the January 16th meeting at 6 p.m. So we won't actually hear the item tonight. We'll just continue it to your next meeting.
Okay.
So you have to technically open the public hearing, and somebody would need to make a motion to continue that to the next meeting. Somebody would have to second that, and then you guys would vote on the continuance, but it's a matter of form. The applicant has requested, because they've attempted to consult an attorney to assist them with this application, and because of the attorney's schedule, they've been unable to meet.
Okay. At this time, we will open up for public conversation, if there's any at this time.
You're not taking public, you're just opening the hearing, and we're continuing that hearing
In January. Okay.
to January,
Okay.
to a time certain in January, so it'll be January 16th.
January 16th, yes.
Okay, so at this time, we're continuing the meeting to January 16th, and at that time, we will open up for.
Yeah, you'll actually do a public hearing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we, meet on January 16th, 2025.
I think the motion needs to say that you're removing the variance.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
basically continuing this.
Continue, yeah.
Continuing this public hearing for this item to January 16th at 6 p.m.
I make a motion to continue the request for variance from for today at 195 Chestnut Street to January 16th, 2025. How's that?
Mhm.
Very good. Thank you.
Second.
Okay. All right, it has been motion and second that we continue to January the 16th meeting, item, A, 195 Chestnut Street until January.
Need an all eyes?
Excuse me.
Did I get an all eyes?
All in favor? Aye. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so are you ready for the next item?
Yes.
Okay, so this item is a text amendment. It's an amendment to section 3.15 of the Land Development Code. And it's going to amend the setbacks for the public facilities zoning district. So I'll give you a little background. As you know, on your agenda is two items following this, both related to 201 North Summit Street. That is a city-sponsored comp plan amendment and rezoning. If you recall, this item was on a prior meeting. There were some notice issues associated with that night, and so the hearing did not occur. But we did make contact with the adjoining property owners and the chief and I subsequently met with the surrounding property owners. They had some concerns about this item. And so in order to resolve that, because their primary issue was not the proposed use, it was, their concern was with the zoning district itself, because the public facilities zoning, as it's currently in the landowning code, does not have any setback. You could build to the property line. And so after some discussion on the site, staff agreed to sponsor and bring forward a text amendment that would establish 10-foot setbacks in the public facilities zoning district. And so that's the item that's before you tonight. The current code, as I indicated, has 0 setbacks. There are public facilities in various locations, some of them in the downtown, some of them in other locations. So I think that was sort of the genesis and idea from why the current code had no setback, because of the potential for public facilities at this building downtown along Central Avenue. But having considered how applying this zoning will occur in other areas, we think that we'll probably run into similar situations. And so we have brought forward this amendment. So you see attached to the staff report the current public facilities portion of the landowning code, and then you see in bold and underline some additional text. You'll see to the table in section 3.15 that contains the dimensional requirements. There's new setbacks established. It's 10 feet for front, rear, and side. The criteria in landowning code for text amendments is, as long as there's nothing inconsistent with the comprehensive plan, the city commission, upon recommendation from the planning and zoning commission, is free to make changes to the landowning code based on your judgment and the plan and the city commission's judgment. So that's criteria. There is nothing in the comp plan that this would be consistent with. Staff's recommending approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is there going to be a building
Well,
there? I mean, if you're changing it, you must have plans on putting a building
yeah, we're going to get to that in these next 2 items. So
in.
yes, hopefully there will be a building. This is just
Just for the setback.
This is just changing the zoning district, because that seems to be the objection. There's not an objection, and obviously people will have 2 hearings, and if somebody has an objection to it, they can say so. But based on the meeting that the chief and I had with the neighbors, their issue was not so much what the current plans are,
You just said that.
just the setbacks. They're more concerned what could happen on the property in the distant future if there are changes in staff, changes in the commission, and so they wanted to be protected from that.
All right.
And so this is like a reasonable compromise.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have it throughout the city anyways for this zoning. What you're telling us, it doesn't exist, correct? For the EPF zoning
There are no
setbacks?
There are no setbacks. There are a number of zoning categories,
That have setbacks, such as
have
residential.
setbacks. And we'll talk about the central business district in a future item, but
Exactly, yeah. Well, I think setbacks make sense, are a good thing. So thank you.
you're welcome.
And so you just pretty much remain consistent with what was already there in our code, correct? I mean, for the particular bill. So what is the
The
purpose?
current land development code, which is the new updated land use code, has no setbacks for the PF.
Right.
So we're just adding these in.
Mhm.
And that seems to be something that will allow, the city or other government entities to make full use of the property and still have some ability for their, deal with access issues and just sort of get the buildings right off the property. Or the potential for that to happen.
Thank you.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion that we amend section 3.15 of the Land Development Code to establish setback requirements for the PF Public Facilities Zoning District as shown in the chart as, I believe it's 10, 10, and 10.
Correct.
Second.
Okay, it has been motion and second that we approve the setback of 3.15 to 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay. So we're ready for the next item?
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about, items for, C and D together. You'll have to vote on them separately. They're a comp plan amendment and a rezoning to 201 North Summit Street. The applicant is the city of Crescent City. If you have any questions as to, for the applicant, of course, we have the city manager and the fire chief is here. And normally I have a PowerPoint up, so you can at least take a look at that location, but I think everybody is familiar with the existing fire station, which is located at North Summit and Eucalyptus Avenue on the west side of North Summit. And the city plans to develop a new building that would be located east of the existing fire station that is there. And as a result of the design of that building and some discussions that we had with the architect, it was determined that it would be best to rezone this property to public facilities because it's designed for public facilities. It's a very flexible zoning category. The changes to the setbacks will not affect the design of this particular building because there was no intention to set it closer to the property than to the property boundaries than 10 feet. And so in order to accomplish this, the city is requesting both this small scale comp plan amendment going from, we're gonna go from commercial to public buildings and grounds, and the rezoning is going from GC1 to public facilities. Now you have two staff reports, which contain some findings. I'm not going to read to you the staff reports in their entirety, but for each time, I'm just going to basically submit the staff report as part of the record. So for this first item, I'm submitting the comp plan amendment staff report. It does an analysis of, soils, habitats, location, public facilities. Basically, the conclusion of this report is that this is an area of the city that has, that's all developed. It has all the infrastructure in place. There's nothing environmentally sensitive. This is where you want to direct growth to. So the long and short of that staff report, that's the indication. And same for the zoning staff report. This is an area of the city to which, growth should be directed. It's an appropriate zoning category. And so staff's recommend approval for both of these items. Be happy to answer any questions, and of course you can.
So you said it's gonna be east of the existing firehouse, which means that's that black parking area?
Correct.
Okay. And just to clarify on the setbacks for the public facility zoning, so if you had a sidewalk in front of the building, that means 10 feet from the sidewalk would be the setback to the building. So you'd have.
The building will be set back more than.
Yeah, but I mean, that's.
But in terms of what could be allowed,
Okay.
assuming that setback is on the property line, yes, it'd be 10 feet back.
Is this gonna be the
It would
dormitory?
Excuse me?
Is this gonna be the dormitory?
Yes, it'll have a bay in it, and it will have some housing associated with it. So that's the intention.
I have no questions.
And in order to do what the building intends, the land designation needs to change too.
The future land use and the zone.
Yes, okay. So do we make a motion to?
Well, this is a public hearing, so you should
The same thing.
hear from the public if
Okay.
anybody wants to speak.
Okay, at this time, we will open up for public comment. Could please come to the podium and state your name and your address, please.
And I'd like to say it's nice to have public.
I can see you guys get lonely, my goodness. My name is Charlie, Chirlie, Erkman, Erkman. I live at 121 Grady Lake Road, Crescent City, Florida. I want to let you all know that I really appreciate your staff. You're a very competent planner, and the fire chief hosted a meeting with myself and with the representative for the Cemetery Association. They understood our concerns about the setbacks. They walked the entire property with us. The fire chief even marked out on the sidewalk or the asphalt where the building's going to go. With you guys, thank you very much for voting the setbacks. That was our only concern. We're excited for the city to go forward with this. It's something that's needed, and there will be no opposition from us. And as far as I know, from the Cemetery Association, they were pleased also. So I want to thank you guys for your efforts on this. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Comment. Okay. So at this time,
You would ask for a motion to approve the small scale comp plan amendment, then you have to do the rezoning separately. That is a public hearing as well, they have to open a public hearing.
okay, at this time, can we get a motion for the small scale comprehensive plan amendment?
I'll make a motion that we, is it expand or accept? Approve.
Second.
You gotta say it.
Nope, sorry.
That's okay. Save me from mumbling.
I'll fill it in.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, it has been seconded, motion that, we approve a small scale comprehensive plan amendment from commercial rezone to, from commercial to public facility.
Future land use, yes.
The future land use.
Second.
Yeah.
We need an all ayes.
Second, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Who wants to go ahead and do D?
Yes.
Can we get a motion for the zoning map amendment for rezoning of 201 North Summer Street?
You have to.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Technically
I'm
open the
sorry.
hearing.
At this time, we will open it up for public comment for 201 North Summer Street.
Hearing none, close the hearing and then,
And then ask for the motion.
Okay, at this time, we, public code comment is closed. So we would, so someone
I need a
motion,
motion in.
motion for 201 North Summit Street.
I would make a motion that, we, agree to the rezoning of the, property 201 North Summit Street from general commercial zoning district to the PF facilities, public facilities zoning district.
Second. It has been motioned and second that we rezone 201 North Summit Street from commercial to public facility. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So we'll move on to next item of business, E.
Okay, so again, E and F are related, so I'm gonna talk about them together. You'll have to
Vote separately.
vote separately.
Okay.
So item E and F is the comp plan amendment and rezoning for 122 Central Avenue. It's a small scale comp plan amendment and rezoning. The comprehensive plan amendment is from mixed use to commercial. And the rezoning is from MR1 multi-family residential to essential business zoning district. And so this is a property that is located on Central Avenue. It is mid-block, on the north side of Central Avenue, mid-block between North Park and North Lake Street. As you are aware, as part of the new land development code, we've created a central business zoning district. And it is the intention to apply that to portions of Central Avenue and North Summit Street. We'll talk about that process as a discussion item at the end of after the meeting. But this particular applicant is the people I dealt with are the Faulkners, but the technical property owner is it, I don't even know how to pronounce it, is it Busman or Busman family revocable living trust, but I'm dealing with the Faulkners. They have owned this property for some time. They have had it as a rental property. They have an opportunity. Somebody's approached them and wants to open up a professional office. I believe it's they want to operate a title company out of this piece of property. And so some of the property owners along Central Avenue are aware of our plans. Hopefully many of them are, but that's something we'll talk about later. And so the Faulkners understand that the process of applying this new zoning category is something that will, it will be a process, it will take some time, there will be a number of property owners that are gonna be consulted about it, and they simply have decided they would like to go forward on their own, and proceed with this rezoning of their property, because it's gonna allow them to do some of the things that they want to do with the property in the future, and so they want to proceed now. Even though they've been told that if they wait, it'll all be taken care of for them, it'll be administratively done, but they wish to proceed now. So that's the genesis of this application. And so you have in your in your package 2 staff reports, one for the comp plan amendment and rezoning. And again, this, as we discussed with 201 North Summit, 122 Central Avenue is an area that is fully developed. It is perhaps the most urbanized portion of the city. All the infrastructure is in place. There's nothing environmental. This again, this is where the city wants to see growth. The comp plan calls for this area to have growth. The urban development, the CRI master plan identifies this as an area as the central business district, and so the city's future plan to rezone it and this particular application is consistent with that. And so these reports are entered into the record. But as I said, the long and short of this, of these reports is this is where you want to have growth occur. So this is why staff's recommending approval of both the comp plan amendment and rezoning. Be happy to answer any questions.
I'm looking at all these maps, and it's all different colors, so are we talking about this one, where the property is outlined in red?
That one was the one for the fire.
Yeah, we want to add that too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you should have 2 staff reports that have the 122 Central Avenue on
What's that?
top of them.
Do you know where,
These three are-
Brad, do you know where, Brad?
Yeah.
Do you know where the bistro was?
Yeah.
Where they had the little restaurant on the park right there?
Is that down
So
the hatch
across-
now?
Yeah, they're down the hatch and then, I don't know what it is now, but,
There it is.
Are these the same people that own them?
yeah.
Because it's down the hatch and then it's another office built where,
Yeah,
where,
so it's
Okay.
two buildings down.
that's what Patrick used to have,
Yeah.
this building. and
Yes,
then-
he
Okay,
sold it, Patrick sold it to them.
okay.
I mean, you guys would understand it better if the addresses are all, but
So
it's easier if you know.
what is that building now?
Right now,
Is it a residence?
it's vacant, but it's most recently used as a residence.
As a Airbnb, they use that for an Airbnb.
And they're planning on renovating it,
They're planning on turning it into an office.
and you can turn it into an office with what it is here, right? I mean, no criteria for an office.
They want to do a professional office. It's not like it's not a home office. They want to turn this into, there'll be nobody residing in it, right? It's currently zoned for multifamily, right? Although it's a single family home, it's zoned multifamily. And so they want to turn it into a professional office.
Okay, and this would be the first step to get it rezoned.
Yes.
That's what they're applying for. They're applying for a comp plan amendment
That would be the first step.
and a
in the
rezoning.
process.
And the first step is the comp plan.
Okay, and then do they have to submit a site plan and pictures of what they're gonna build?
They're gonna do interior renovations.
They're not taking down the building, Brad, they're just doing inside interior
Yeah.
renovations there. The building will remain right where it's at.
Yeah, if they want to expand the building, if they want to change parking or anything like that, then they will have to go through site plan approval. My understanding at this point, and of course, they could change their mind. I mean, that's one of the things you need to understand after the zoning. And once you do the zoning, they could say, hey, we changed our mind and we want to, knock this down and put up an office building that conforms to the new zone. They certainly could do that. It's probably a contributing structure. They have to go through, a bunch of processes to do that. But yes, in theory, they could do that. That, however, is not what they told us their plans are. And that's not their intention as far as I know.
So Mark, you mentioned that if they would wait, the process will be done for them, so is there any benefit for them trying to go at it on their own by doing it?
Well, the benefit is that Charlie Faulkner believes there'll be a lot of deliberation about the large number of people involved in the rezoning. And so he thinks that this might be a lengthy process. So even though he was given the option of this is going to go through, if it does go through, it'll be at no cost to you. He said, I'd rather pay the money and go through the process now.
That way he's not lumped in with the rest.
He's not lumped in with the rest of us. He'll be able to get, he'll be able to proceed with plans and permits right now. He can't, I won't sign off, on a plans now, interior renovations, obviously if he was keeping it as a home and was gonna do internal renovations, you don't need a sign off. If you're gonna change the interior of the building to go from residential to commercial, I'm typically asked to provide a zoning letter that is then carried to the Putnam County. I certainly won't do that if the property is not zoned for that. So, he's doing all this to sort of facilitate getting somebody in there as soon as possible.
I see it as a better use for this location and as well as a complement to what our vision for Central Avenue is to be. So I'm encouraged.
So if you guys have no more questions for me, I'll open the public hearing, see if anybody wants to talk about it. We can close the public hearing and then make a motion.
At this time, we will open up for public comment. At this time, we will close public comments. And someone will make a motion.
I make a motion for the rezoning of 122 Central Avenue from multifamily residential to central business zone.
You want a small scale first?
The small scale
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry,
Small scale first.
I'm all the way jumping down, I apologize. I motion that we approve the small scale comprehensive plan amendment for 122 Central Avenue.
Sorry.
It has been motion and second that we approve the small scale comprehensive plan for 122 Central Avenue. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next, we will open up for public comments for 122 Central Avenue. So at this time, we will close public comment. Get a motion on 122 Central Avenue, zoning map amendment, rezoning.
I move that we accept the request for rezoning of 122 Central Avenue from multifamily residential to central business zoning district.
Also,
It has been motion and second that we change the current zoning map amendment for 122 Central Avenue to central business. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, this time we'll move to other items.
Okay, so under 5A, I just want to bring forward for discussion, just so you guys know what staff's intentions are. You might already have maps that kind of show the central business district in your packet. I just don't know how, I have extra if those are not. I mean, I think maybe my apps might be just a little bit clearer, if you guys would like to, you know, if you want more take. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Team.
Yeah, I'll take it. Do you have another set?
Yeah,
Passing them out, but-
and there'll be some extras when you get down to the end, so you just,
Dan has that file down, yeah, because there's another one right there.
Thank you.
Just like when you were a kid in school, that's the paper.
Yes.
I do.
and again, I'm gonna pass, and I'm passing something else out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Time for a big one.
What I just passed out is a list of all the properties that will be involved. It's, I understand it's small, it's not, the intention here is not for you guys to, you know, necessarily to read and digest this. You know, but what that is just, it's a spreadsheet. It basically identifies all the properties, all the property owners. It says what their current, future land use is and zoning is, and it shows what it's going to be. And so that's, and primarily what we're gonna use this to create zoning labels that will go out, and there'll be a notice sent to each of the property owners on this list. We will have to make one change to it, because originally at one point we were gonna change the property that is proposed 201 North Summit, that was part of the earlier agenda. We were gonna change that to Central Business District as well, but we decided to change it to public facilities instead. And so that whole block. So what you have in front of you is a zoning map. It's kind of hard to read because it's 8.5 by 11, but it shows the whole city. And then you have a little bit more of an inset, which shows, you know, which portion of the city is being proposed to be rezoned to Central Business District. And that is generally an area that is north and south of Central Avenue, and then going along Summit up to Eucalyptus on both sides of the street. And then once you get past Eucalyptus, it will go up to Edgewood just on the east side of the street. And south of Central Avenue, you can see it's Central Business District on both sides, till you get to Cypress. And then it just picks up again south of Myrtle. So the Central Business District is this, and you've seen this map before. The only difference between this map that you've seen previously is the change that we made to be consistent with the zoning action that you're recommending. They recommended to the City Commission tonight regarding the public facilities zoning. So you can see if you look at the area that is eucalyptus and North Summit, that whole area is shown as blue now. That is anticipating, the early rezoning will, be, at least first read by the city commission by the time people are saying this, publicly. And so what this, the way this process is gonna work is we're gonna send a notice to all the people who are listed on that sheet. We're gonna let them know that we're intending to rezone their property to central business, and we're gonna invite them to a public meeting that we will hold right here. This will be a staff-run public meeting, so I'll be there and whatever other staff wishes to be there as well. And we will explain to them about the central business district rezoning, talk to them about the potential benefits of it, explain to them that we are gonna rezone their properties, change the comp amendment where necessary, and rezone the rest of the properties at no cost to them. And give them an opportunity to ask any questions, we'll answer any questions. They'll also be given an opportunity, at least my recommendation is we'll be given an opportunity to opt out. If they don't wish to do so, we'll ask them to do that in writing. We'll give them an opportunity to do that. And then we will bring it to meetings before you guys. And we will bring it to, based upon your recommendation, we'll bring it to the city commission for 2 readings for an ordinance that will change all these properties to central business district. And so I'm bringing this to you guys tonight, just as a discussion item. I wanted you to hear the process first. I'm assuming that once we start sending out notices in the new year, that you'll know some of these people and they might be talking to you, and I wanted you to say, yes, I know all about this process, and, you know, here's what it is. And so that's the purpose of the discussion. So I want to ask, you know, any questions that you guys, you know, might have about that process. Again, this is sort of a discussion item, so you guys aren't making a decision, but certainly if you have any thoughts as individuals, you know, I'd certainly like to hear them tonight as we go forward. So the intention would be for there to be a meeting, send out these notices out in the new year, have a meeting towards, hopefully in January. I don't know, you know, we'll check dates, make sure, I know there's, you know, this gets used on various nights, so we'll pick a night where this is open, and hopefully we'll be able to accomplish that in January. Get notices out to people with about a 10-day notice, maybe 2 weeks. And then it would be agenda item for you guys in February, and then hopefully a agenda item for the commission in March. Completion in April, assuming that happens. You know, that would be best case scenario. We've done these mass rezonings in other communities, and it's very rare that I'm able to just sort of move from that general public meeting to the planning committee. You know, what happens is there's maybe a number of people who are concerned. We have to have individual meetings with a few of those people, help them understand, talk through it, and so sometimes that process gets extended, but ideally, that's how it would proceed. That's what we're gonna hopefully put into the notices, so that we don't have to do repeat notices, but if we have to, we will.
And you say that the notice will just be that the proposal to rezone their.
They'll receive a letter. That letter will identify their piece of property by they'll get, if you have more they'll basically get one letter generated per parcel they own. So some people will get multiple letters, and it will tell them what their property currently is and what it's proposed to be rezoning to. It will explain that there's a public hearing, and I will have dates for the planning board meeting, the city commission meeting, assuming that that all works out and we don't have to change the schedule. You know, so ideally there'd be one notice sent covering the three, you know, the three different meetings, but I'm optimistic, but I'm also willing to be flexible and realize that we might have to have additional discussion with people.
I just have one question, simple for clarification. So you said all the colored area here is the city.
Yeah, that is the existing zoning map here, and it covers a much broader area than this map, which is just focusing.
Okay, so
On Central
anything outside of these colored squares is out of the city.
Correct.
So that means I live out in the city.
No, you don't. You live in the city. You want Prospect Street, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the city. I don't know what you're referring to, hon.
Which one's? Oh, there it is, okay, so fine, I can't see it.
Oh, my
Good, because we have to, we have to get a new
You would have to.
planning and
leave.
zoning commission.
You would
Mark,
have to
could you, remind us, on single-family residential, there's SR1 and then SRA1. What's the difference?
Excuse me?
What's the difference
The
between?
difference is minimum lot size.
What's lot size?
Yeah,
I see.
they're very close though. It's like 300 square foot difference, you know, between the SR1 and the
Building
SR.
size and different, like, footprint building.
Yeah,
So I assume that A is a larger size requirement.
I believe it is, but I can tell you exactly if you.
While looking at where
Yeah.
A is represented on the map,
Yeah.
it's reasonable. And here you've written, on this one, Mark, 1.9 acres, that's the total acreage? of this
109 acres total acreage involved.
listing- Of this listing, correct?
Correct. We'll adjust it down because we're gonna take out the square footage associated with 201 South Summit Street. And just the reason for that total, I mean, all these properties are fairly, they're small. But in total, we're talking, you know, rounding upwards, 110 acres will get rezoned as a part of this process.
Yes, yeah, that's
And,
great.
you know, as part of the title, we have to put the acreage in there, so that's the purpose of, you know, identifying that and tracking.
So if people do not attend the public hearing,
They'll be we're gonna send,
You'll get green notices.
they're gonna get, well, ideally, they're gonna get one notice, assuming everything goes perfect. And there'll be one notice of that public meeting and the planning board meeting and the city commission meeting.
and so we'll do it via mail.
It'll be mailed to each of these individual property owners and they'll be invited to it. So there's different, under the current land development code, the way a rezoning works, if you are dealing with one individual piece of property, it's like everybody, the rezonings on tonight's meeting, under the new land development code, everybody got a notice sent to them who lives within 300 feet. So the meeting and the item was, you know, noticed as it normally is, but then also they got an individual notice to the surrounding property owners. When you do a mass rezoning of this, there's language in Florida statute that you don't have to send notice to all the surrounding property owners, but you do have to send notice to each of if the city is doing a rezoning, you do have to send notice to those individual property owners. You can't just rezone somebody's property without telling them.
Right.
Okay, I think before you gave us this map with existing zoning, could you have that sent to us again?
Yeah,
It's hard to compare. It's easier to compare.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
So now if someone doesn't, respond to the letter, how is that handled?
They've been provided they've been provided notice at the, at whatever address they have in property appraiser's database. And that's all that is required. There'll be advertisements in the paper as well. So I mean, this is, like I said, we've done a number of mass rezonings before. This is actually a fairly small one. I don't think there'll be too many people who don't hear about this. There'll be somebody who doesn't hear about it. And we'll have some issues, but I've actually done rezonings that involve 30,000 acres. And you send the notice to the property owner, I mean, lots of people show up usually at that initial meeting. I mean, I've done that where we've had 300 people show up at that initial.
So just to make sure I understand, so they'll be notified, whether they attend the meeting or not.
It goes on,
Goes on.
right?
So if they do not opt out.
Their property
Their property will.
gets rezoned. So let's assume somebody lives out of state and they have a 10-year-old address on their property that they own here in Crescent City, and they've never changed, updated it somehow before, their property will get rezoned, and they will not know about it. But we will meet we'll meet all our legal obligations, but as I said, we've done this before, and it does happen. There's usually somebody out of state, and, you know, I get contacted, you know, by some person who the city has sent to me, who's, you know, wondering, you know, how the property got rezoned 3 years ago.
I just have another question. So this is what exists now.
That's the existing zoning right now.
Okay. And this is what you want to change it to.
Correct.
I'm gonna add a lot of general business, right? Is this,
You know, most of what we're rezoning is already commercial. There's a little bit of it that is not. You can see, if you look here, there's a few properties that are not red. I mean, that's what the red on this indicates.
okay, this,
So everybody who's red on this list is general commercial, and they're gonna go to central business district, assuming they don't opt out.
okay, this, the black area here, can you see what I'm pointing? Is that the Miller School?
Some of it is the Miller School, yes.
Right.
So, in any case, but there are some people who have residential and they'll go to commercial.
And that's,
Assuming they don't opt out, you know, so, I mean, typically what happens, there'll be one or two people that, no matter how I explain to them, no matter how I indicate to them, it's, you know, it's to their benefit. We'll spend time going through the zoning category, we'll compare and contrast with them, I'll meet one-on-one with them. You're working for the government, I just don't trust what you're doing and I wanna opt out. Somebody is gonna do that, it just always happens.
I have another question. This is SR1, this pink.
Get SR1A,
Okay. What is the little black band that goes all along the shoreline? That's gonna be rezoned?
no, I think that little black band is just sort of the limits of the city. There's an actual aerial underneath it, and this is done in GIS. And so,
It shows all the docks and everything.
yeah.
In the black, so is that all
Yeah.
like not part of the city?
No, so just so you understand, the way we made this, we had an aerial map, and we laid all the parcels on it, so you can see all these little parcels, so that's a layer in the map. And then the zoning is a layer on top of it, and there's just not the shape files just are not perfect overlays. So that's kind of what you're seeing.
Because it shows shows all those properties with the boathouses and everything is general commercial.
Well, I think what this map is showing is that, first of all, none of the stuff down there in the SR1A, we're not touching any of those. The only properties that we're rezoning are those that are on that list and that are shown in the black with the red horizontal lines.
So this is pretty much this little area right here in Law.
Yeah, it's just insect, and of course, I've been provided that, one, I think you're correct, you did see something in the past where it was the insect.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome, that's all I have, for this evening.
Okay, all right, at this time, is there any public comments? So it's closed for public comment. Board members, do you have any comments?
Yes. Can you make the motion, we adjourn?
I'll second that.
It has been motion and second that we adjourn the planning and zoning meeting for December the 18th, 2024, the last one.
And notice that it was under an hour. Yes.